Son, they need to make a. Oh, I'm gonna leave that. I just came up with a brilliant idea. I have a joke for the end too. When life is but a torture, welcome to Smiley's Corner. Yeah.
Welcome to Smiley's Corner. My name's Smiley. We are gathered here today with my good friend John.
What up, y'all? How's it going, my buddy?
It's going good.
So, for anyone watching, you can see this, but for the listeners, I have headphones on with a beanie, or I grew up calling it a toboggan. I guess that's not right, but I was just thinking they need to make headwear headphones. They need to make beanies that have headphones designed onto them, or even hats. Would that not? Or that's probably already done, isn't it?
They'd have like earbuds. They have like, you know the ones that like kind of hang down on your ears and they have little strings?
Yeah.
They have them with the earbuds and the strings. I think that's what it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's lots of like kind of incognito stuff like that. The only reason I know this is because I used to, I didn't exactly manage, but I was like low-level management in a warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not allowed to drive a forklift or any powered equipment in the warehouse while listening to audio.
And so people had their ways around that?
Yeah, lots of phones and headphone stuff, Bluetooth, all kinds of stuff. I don't know.
It's funny how desperate people are. I will never understand the, like, because I see people at the grocery store all the time. I'm like, so you're in a grocery store. It's, like, already a public place, kind of noisy. You got music playing on the, fucking, I don't know, intercom at work at a grocery store. And then you got these people that have the one headphone in.
Yeah.
Gotta
hear my jams while I shop, dog.
Like, that's so crazy. I don't feel like it, I hope somebody does a study. And it reveals that, like, production is down, I don't know, 85%. Like, I feel like it's just not, it doesn't make a more productive person. I know people probably think that it does, but I don't think that it does. I don't.
I think in certain applications, music does help productivity, or at least like it keeps you from like wanting to kill yourself at your job.
I don't know. I feel like. I don't know. You should focus on the task at hand, not.
But
so you make mistakes, man. Whenever you're listening to a sweet lick or something, is when you.
Whenever I did like manual labor jobs in a warehouse, like I worked on a conveyor belt at one point, and the two jobs that I remember, actually, there's three jobs. You'd either process orders because basically the shipment will come down the conveyor and it'll go down a ramp. And it'll hit your station. Mm-hmm. You got to scan all the boxes, weigh everything out, make sure it's what they asked for. Once everything's good, it'll process and it'll spit you like a UPS label out. You put it in the box and put it on the thing. You're just doing that over and over, standing in the same spot, doing that all day long. Or I worked at the end of the line where you get those big void fill bubbles, the big like air pillow things.
Okay.
And you shove them into boxes and you run it through a tape machine. And you do that over and over and over all day.
Wait, what are those called?
Void fill.
That's so fun. I mean, that's exactly what they do is fill voids. Yeah. So your shit doesn't rattle around.
And
what
then
a crazy name for
at
them.
the end of the conveyor belt, the finished boxes all taped up. You sit at the end of the line and you lay pallets out and you just stack boxes as high as you can stack them. You wrap them and you load them on a trailer. You do that all day. Music definitely like helped me get through a lot of like rough work, especially if you're doing that for like 12 hours.
You don't work there anymore?
Mm-mm.
So music didn't help you stay there, huh?
Well, they fired everybody. They shut down the building.
Probably because they're all fucking listening to the goddamn fucking death metal through their headphones and stuff.
It was funny. There was a guy that worked at the end of the line, and he would like play Cannibal Corpse like at very loud volumes, and I liked it a lot.
I mean, I feel like like I say, I'm not saying like, oh no, it makes everything worse. Like, personally, I feel like it's either like a no difference or slightly worse. But like I say, if I saw a study, I'd be willing to be proved wrong. It's totally fine. I don't. I just feel people. It really weirds me. It don't weird me out. It just. I'm surprised just because I can't do it. I don't know how other people do it. Like, I remember hearing Mark Norman talk about, like, how crazy he feels if he leaves the house without headphones and stuff, and he's just alone with his thoughts and everything. And I'm like, it's scarier to me to be in public and in your own head. Because, like, I don't know, that just, I guess you're in your own head if you're just have racing thoughts all the time. But, like, listening to music or podcast while you're, like, in public, it's just kind of like, it's like, why are you, I don't know. Like, why are you even in public? I don't know. It's scary to me. It's scary to me not to, like, I would be more self-conscious because I would feel like, I don't want to say, oh, everyone's pointing and laughing at me and I have no idea. But there is an element of that where I'm thinking, like, somebody could just simply be talking to me or doing something and I just have no idea. And, like, that scares me more than, so when I see people with, full-on headphones, I'm just like, man, it's fine. I don't want to interact with you either, but if shit hits the fan, I hope you're not
but I get
first casualty.
Like, I get exactly what you're saying, and I guess the situation I was describing is a little different because we had boom boxes set up, so you could still, like, talk to people and interact, and you couldn't, like, turn up the music, like, as loud as you wanted to.
There's people at work that I've seen, one guy used to bring one of those little Bluetooth speakers, but I've seen people in the back that are, like, I don't know, prepping stuff or breaking stuff down or whatever, and they have their, like, cell phone set up and they have it as loud as it'll go, and I'm like, is that really, I don't know, it's just
I don't
weird.
get, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, in the morning I'm fine with listening to music, like, in the car, but once I get to work, I just feel like, especially in, like, common areas, like a break room or whatever.
Yeah.
It should be quiet. Maybe a little, like, low TV sound or something.
No, that's true.
But there are people that, like, just walk around with their phone, like, just blaring whatever the hell they're listening to. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. You think you're just, like, you're above everyone else here? I think they're just too stupid to realize.
Yeah,
but
that is very weird. And I think that's what weirds me out, because, like, that's weirder to me than the headphone thing, because now, normally I would think, like, oh, everyone's pointing and laughing at me. Now I'm thinking, like, oh, they can hear what I'm watching. Now they're judging me based on, like, what I'm doing. Like, anytime, like, if I walk out of my apartment and I click on, like, if you're on Twitter or whatever and you click on the tweet and all of a sudden the video starts playing, I just, like, there's this fucking panic that runs through me, like, 'cause I don't know what they're fucking about to say. Because I'm trying to think, there was one, it wasn't anything, like, racy or that bad, but it was just, walking out of my apartment, you're like, yeah, so the penis went in the butt, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. And it's like, out of context, everyone's gonna be like, whoa, guys.
I do that at work because I used to sit and listen to like podcasts with headphones on. But the way the phone audio works now, it's so good, and nobody's in there with me. It's just me by myself, so I just play it like through the speaker in the phone. But my coworker will come in and, like, switch shifts. And he always kind of pops up at, like, random times, but, like, some of the stuff I listen to is the same thing. It's just like, oh, that dude had a huge dick.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Have you ever, I feel like I've done this a handful of times in my life where, I have the headphones on and, I'm listening to whatever, and I'll take one out or pull one off to make sure that I'm actually hearing it through the headphones. Yeah. I always have that fear of, like, it's just blaring out of my phone or whatever I'm listening through, and I'm just sitting there and, like, it's the same thing. It's like everyone's pointing and laughing. It's like that. He doesn't realize that he's not hearing it through his headphones. He's just hearing it out of whatever's producing the sound.
I wish I could remember what it was from. It was like a TV show or like a story or something, but guy is, like, staying at, like, an Airbnb or something with, like, a bunch of friends, and I don't know, things start to wind down, so he ends up, like, going back to his room, and he decides that he wants to, like, pound one out before he goes to bed. So he goes into the bathroom with his phone, and he, like, pulls up, like, whatever porn clip he had, like, saved on his phone, starts watching. He can't figure out why the audio isn't, like, working.
Did he have the Bluetooth on?
Yeah, the Bluetooth was still connected to the speaker outside, and everybody was just sitting outside, like, on the patio.
Oh, man. See, that's... I guess if there were friends, yeah, I guess even if they weren't friends, you could play that off. Like, did you guys hear that? Oh, I totally got you or whatever. I think I talked about that once. Like, on my phone on the YouTube, it has a I guess like broadcast button or option or whatever, and it's just I hate nothing. You know, it used to bug me like video games where you'd be like, "All right, quit. Are you sure you want to quit?" Yes, I'm sure I want to fucking quit. Why does it even bring this up? But whenever like you just hit a button and it doesn't give you any sort of like, those are the worst, because I just hit the button and then all of a sudden I hear the video in the living room at my parents' house and I'm like, hey, it was something totally innocent or whatever, but oh boy, man, there was like a fucking panic, and I'm like, I could easily hit that when I'm watching something a little racy, so I don't know, I gotta be careful now that I know what that fucking button is. It's the same thing on my phone. If you push that microphone, I think initially I thought it was like voice to text, but it just records your voice. But you push it, hold it down, and as soon as you let go, it sends it. I'm like, there's no sort of like review or are you sure you want to send this thing? And I'm like, because the first time I did it, of course, I'm like, I got to try it out. And like, I don't know, I just got so used to the whole, are you sure you want to do this? That I just assumed, yeah, it's always going to ask you, are you sure? It's the same thing with like, I don't know.
People complain.
Yeah, purchasing stuff online. I'm always worried. I'm like, man, what if this is one of those times where I like click it and it's like, all right, boom, you just ordered 12 of those somehow and we didn't ask if you were sure about that. But I don't know. So how was PAX?
PAX. And you know that's actually what is it? Penny Arcade Exchange. I think that's what it is. Cause I
don't know if you know this, Smiley, but exchange does not start with an X.
But that's a big thing. I didn't realize that was such a big part of it. I feel like a dummy because I think that's what it's kind of like started out as.
But it's still a big part of it?
Like we went to a, I don't know, I guess I'll just kind of roll into it. We went to like a pre-party and it was like...
red carpet?
It was literally just a bunch of nerds sitting around playing tabletop games in a bar. Tabletop,
as in D&D and stuff like that? And, is that what it means by tabletop? Like board games, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see anybody. There might have been like some people playing Magic and stuff. I didn't see any D&D. We didn't see any like hardcore D&D until we got into the like expo hall. But yeah, whenever you first got there, they asked for a donation. And you could buy, they had like special edition pins at this thing. And then once you get there, they have even more pins. Like everybody lined up early to get the limited edition pin that they were giving out. Like only the first 250 people or whatever get it.
For a pin? Okay.
It's a big deal. Like some of the people had like, I don't know, hundreds of pins on their jackets and stuff. But yeah, it was cool. I don't really know what their tagline is as far as all the stuff, but it's basically you got tabletop games, you got video games, there's and then like everything in between. Like they had like there was some kind of live action role playing thing called like I think it was called like The Dungeon or something like that. And there was another game called Werewolf that I think is like that too, but it's like LARPing indoors. But they had like VR things. We tried to get into VR a few times, but the lines were just so ridiculous.
Isn't it crazy how many children you don't see at these events?
There were.
I'm sure there was some.
Like a decent amount, but yeah, it wasn't that many.
Isn't that crazy? I feel like if you'd have brought this up in like 1983, it'd be like, yeah, dude, they have these conventions for children. But 2020, no, bro. I guess it was long before 2020, but it is kind of crazy when you describe it, because like growing up, I'm like, yeah, those are all. I don't want to offend the gamer community or anything. It's just kind of funny. I don't know.
But so let's see.
Oh, you have your whole itinerary there?
Well, I tried to like write down everything I could think of, because a lot of it was just kind of like, you know how you do something and then like you had a really good time doing it, but there was like so many things you just kind of slip your mind. But we went to a live, like it was basically just like a panel, but it was a live podcast. These people rank every video game ever made.
Oh, man.
But it's not as daunting as it sounds. They've been doing it since they started it.
When you say rank, they have like a 1 to 1 million, like, or is it just, hey, this game is 3 stars, this game is 2.5 stars, but or is it literally ranked? Like...
Yeah, it's a number, like, and I don't know how many games they've got to. Not like a crazy amount, maybe like under 1,000.
Okay,
maybe?
can you? I feel like the audience. I'm honestly asking for myself, but I would like to know the worst, if you know it. The worst, the one that's ranked the worst, and do you know the one that's ranked the best thus far?
The one that's ranked the best is pretty funny.
Really? I'm trying to think.
So,
give me 5 guesses.
I don't think you'd get it in 5 guesses.
Okay, so it's definitely not like a classic like a Mario 3 or Zelda.
No.
Okay.
But the whole thing with this is you have, I think there's 5 people. I'm not sure if it's always like that, but there's 5 people on this thing. And it's completely, like, objective. Like,
yeah, I just realized...
There's no necessary rhyme or reason. They just vote.
I just realized that, like, to rank it, like, there's not enough time in a lifetime to rank every game ever.
And they have had, like, from what it sounded like, I've never listened to it, but I got, like, a little card from them just to see, like, because they have, like, a whole podcast network where they do lots of different stuff. But apparently they have sat and had, like, in-depth conversations about art and video games and, like, storytelling and just, like, trying to, like, break it down as, like, far as they can to, like, give like a honest, reasonable rating to some of these games. Other ones it's just like funny. Like they had I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a Pac-Man clone where the guy like cleans your teeth or something.
What are you like biting on toothpaste as you're going around the maze?
Instead of power pellets, they're like little toothpaste things. And the ghosts are like cavities or plaque or something.
So they're just holes. They're like black.
I think it was called Plaque-Man. That's what it was.
Plaque-Man. You know what's funny is I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong with this, but I feel like, actually before we get into that, I had heard, you probably already knew this, but I had heard that Pac-Man was originally Puck-Man, which makes sense because it looks like a puck.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is true, but I have heard that they changed it because of the arcade unit. They were worried about people defacing it and making it say "fuck man." I don't know if any of that's true, but that's what I've heard. But I was gonna say about the Plaque Man, I guarantee you, I feel like they probably came up with the name first, then went back.
Like tried to figure out what they're gonna make it.
Plaque Man, that's hilarious, Tom. And then they found out a way to make it.
So you want to hear what the?
Can you tell me what console it's on?
I believe it was PlayStation. It was either PlayStation 1 or 2. And I'm not 100% sure. I might have to pull up the thing to...
Does it have sequels?
Not like direct sequels.
I guess it's not enough for... definitely not like Metal Gear Solid.
It's a licensed game.
Licensed?
Like a...
Explain that to the audience. And me.
So basically you have like...
it's a pre-existing IP?
Like a comic book character or...
like if Walt Disney has fucking Mickey Mouse... And then they want to make a game, they have that's a licensed property. They have to get the license to make that property into a game. So it's not like... So it wasn't originally a video game. The character in it. Really?
No. It was a children's toy.
The number one best game? So, just for the record, you said that a lot of them are like pretty well thought through and try to give you an honest, genuine, and a lot of them are just funny.
Yeah.
The number one of all time isn't like fall into the funny we're fucking around category, does it?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh,
but the reason that it happened like this, and
is it possible that anything can beat it, or is it just gonna stay there as a joke?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure like they'll probably they did have one that was still hanging out in like maybe like the top 50 or top 20 from the last time they did something like this. But it's basically what happened was they'll do they'll vote, and the guy in the middle, the fifth guy, he's just like the moderator.
Mm-hmm.
He just takes the vote, so you got 2 on each side, and he's like, how many people for this game? How many people for this game? And if it's a tie, they'll go to an audience vote, and they'll just do the cheering thing. So instead, like, once they got towards the end of the podcast, I guess just because they thought it was funny, or at least the moderator guy thought it was funny, they were like, let's just leave it all up to an audience vote. So they started, like, banging this game against, like, super, like, heavy hitters, like, games that have, like, changed people's lives and shit. Like,
here's Earthbound. Here's Final Fantasy VII or whatever. Trying to think of, like, big games that people... So you said it's a children's toy. Was it ever anything else, a film or a cartoon, perhaps?
Yeah, I think they've made just about every...
Wasn't G.I. Joe and Transformers, weren't those originally toys?
I think so, yeah.
And then they made... God, it's kind of crazy how it's just like... One thing's just kind of made to sell the other.
Mm-hmm.
But then they all get... I don't know. Because that's what I remember hearing about G.I. Joe. I remember learning that long after the fact. And I never watched any G.I. Joe growing up. G.I. Joe and Transformers were two things that I felt like were before my time. But people my age or even younger are like, no, I love that stuff. Like,
yeah.
What? Like,
I think it also depends on how much, like, what your cable access was like. Because we only had, like, a few channels when I was a kid. So
yeah, that's true.
I watched He-Man, Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, I was aware of all these. And you know what? Now that you say that, I feel like maybe I only really did catch them at other people's houses. But I also feel like... I don't want to sound like a huge dick, but I feel like I was an outdoorsy kid, so maybe that was kind of why.
Oh.
And just to be fair, so no one takes offense to that, I'm definitely making up for lost time because I'm an indoorsy guy now. But, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, so, anyways, to get back on topic. So it's not Transformers or G.I. Joe, I'm assuming.
No. Think,
children's toy.
Do you want me to
Pet Rock.
Point you in the right direction a little?
Not yet. Wait, that's weird. Okay, now I just realized I said G.I. Joe Transformers. That would be like definitely an era long before PlayStation 1 or 2, at least. So I got to think of the console, either 1 or 2. So that we're talking like mid to late 90s. Popular toy.
Oh no! Like the license, this licensed product goes like way back, like.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it's a very old toy.
Very old toy?
Uh-huh.
Damn it. I really hope we have some listeners that are, just call in and let me know. Damn it. I don't want you to just outright say it, but now you just... Because I thought I was, like, inching closer. I'm like, okay, I got a console. I have an era. But apparently that's not even...
Well, do you want me to give you another hint?
I guess.
It's for girls.
Toy that goes way back for girls, Barbie?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
You want me to show you which one?
Wait. There's a Barbie game on the regular Nintendo, the first Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
This is not that.
No, I'm pretty sure this is on one of the PlayStations.
So it's a joke.
Uh-huh.
Is that offensive that I just assumed that cannot be the best game? I kind of thought that whenever the Angry Video Game Nerd did that video on the Barbie game on Nintendo.
Yeah, PlayStation 2.
Oh my god, what's the name of it?
Barbie Horse Adventures.
Barbie Horse Adventures.
And it looks like a really awful game. Like
you know what's funny?
They played a demo of it.
You know, honestly, what kind of bugs me about it is, it's like it's a pretty decent artwork on the cover and everything, but like it doesn't. Like, just for the audience listening at home, just picture Barbie on a horse, but it's like a kind of an Anne Frank-looking painted picture, but it doesn't really look like Barbie to me. I feel like that's a pretty easy face to recreate.
Doesn't look like Barbie?
Maybe I'm not looking at it close enough. Maybe it looks exactly like her. Okay, never mind. That looks exactly like... Okay, it was just too small. That looks exactly like her face. She does have a...
Smaller breasts?
I was going to say larger breast right there.
Oh.
Because that's kind of a loose blouse, you know?
Oh, here's another one. Oh, they also have Barbie Horse Adventures Riding Camp if you're into the Barbie Horse Adventures.
Right. It's funny because that makes me think of like Metal Gear Solid, but it's like, hey, if you don't like doing like actual shit, just do the VR missions. And this is like the riding camp. It's like if you don't like interacting with NPCs or whatever, just play the fucking riding camp one.
Well, I guess the original one is Barbie Horse Adventures Wild Horse Rescue.
Wild Horse Rescue. But isn't that great? You know, it's this is
also on PC.
You know what's weird though is I feel like I mean we're definitely seeing this in a lot of pop culture stuff that's going on right now, like trying to broaden the audience by including women or like minorities and everything. And I always wonder because like a game like this, at least at the time, I would assume that the makers were targeting the demographic would be girls.
Yeah.
And I'm just spitballing here, but I would assume that most of the people that bought this game were girls, but at the same time, I think girls probably just prefer the other games. And I don't want to say they were boys' games necessarily. Like, to me, a game is a game. I don't really see, like, I say that, but then I'm looking at this Barbie game, and I'm like, well, a game's not a game, because that's definitely a girl's game. But I don't know, it's just kind of weird, because it's like you got this specific demographic you're going after, and like, but what does that say about a boy if he's not willing to play the Barbie game, man? It's just a game, dude. Just things on a screen, jumping and running, and I don't know. It just makes me question everything about this quote-unquote culture war we're currently undergoing.
But
Barbie Horse Adventures.
We could probably spin this because the way that I found out about the Jerry Rice video game was also through this podcast. They also voted on it. It did not fare as well. Do you want to see that one?
It is not the number one game of all time?
No.
Wow. So Jerry Rice, for everyone listening, it's on. Wow, this is on the Wii.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get this straight. In like, so when did the PlayStation 2 come out? Probably like 2000?
Something like that.
And that's when they decided we need a Barbie game. Which is funny, I probably shouldn't be the one talking. Barbie's probably still rocking. Barbie, I feel like is...
Yeah, there's probably like
you got Legos. Like, Legos, holy fuck, dude. Like, they're still going, and they're going pretty fucking strong as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Cousins this year got fucking Legos for Christmas and stuff. It's probably the same thing with Barbies. Probably still going pretty strong. I think my aunt has a Barbie collection.
Really?
Part of me wants to see that, but then I realized I'm like, oh yeah, they all look the same. Yeah, sucks. But it's just weird to me that how old the toy is. And in the year 2000, they're like, we're gonna make a video game on PlayStation. State of the art at the time. It's gonna be Barbie. And then the Nintendo Wii comes along, and they're like, hey, do you remember that guy Jerry Rice, Hall of Fame wide receiver? We're gonna make a video game. What? 10, 15 years after he retires? I don't even know when he retired, but...
Yeah, this game came out in like 2010, I think.
But just for the record, for those listening, Jerry Rice has a dog named Nidus.
I think this is Leonidas.
Leonidas? Oh, I got you.
Nidus for short.
And it's Jerry Rice and Nidus's dog football. Dog football. And if you're wondering what that is, it's football with dogs. And you know what I just realized? That they have wow, that's kind of fucked up because there's a little chihuahua at the bottom. Do you know Jerry Rice's numbers? Would you be able to pull that up real quick? I don't know his number. Is it 55?
Maybe.
I feel bad if there's any sports aficionados in there. Speaking of Jerry Rice, 49ers are back in the Super Bowl, everybody. Oh, yeah, 80. Duh. Jesus Christ. Now I'm, like, looking at it. I'm like, how did I not know that? But it's kind of funny because if anyone's interested, the cover has a little chihuahua at the bottom looking at you, and it has red and gold, relatively 49ers colors, and there's even a poodle in the back that has the same colored jersey on. But what's funny is what's taken front and center? A blue and white number 88, which is kind of weird that 49ers Cowboys rivalry and Jerry Rice is, primarily known as a 49er, it's kind of weird that they would not only do the colors of the Cowboys, but a number. I'm pretty sure it's not Des Bryant's number. I'm pretty sure it's Michael Irvin's number. But, well, that's funny. Dog football. And that's number 2 on the fucking list, I'm assuming?
No, it ended up like getting voted down pretty badly, but I can't remember where it ended up. It was some like oddball number.
I would love it if are there any like developers within the gaming community that knows about this podcast? And like basically if I were to put out this game, I'm like Jerry Rice and Nidus is dog football. Like, hey, how about we have like a byline on it that says like voted 23,804th Beth. God, why is that so fucking hard to say? 23,804th best game of all time by blah 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 podcast. I think they should probably just advertise it that way. I wonder what Jerry Rice is thinking. Like, you think in his head he thought this is going to be like my Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Well, I saw they played like a little news clip of him like promoting the game. And he basically made it sound like he's like, boys have Madden. This is a football game for girls.
Oh, I didn't even think that.
Because there's puppy dogs in it.
I didn't even think this was a girl's game. See, that's what I'm like. It's weird because that's kind of what I was getting at with the Barbie thing. I don't think I ever really like finished that thought. But it's like it's weird because they're like, oh, this is for boys. We need to target some other girls. It's like, just to be fair, like, all video games are for girls too, first of all. Second of all, like, it's kind of weird that you're like making something like this is directly targeting them when I feel like most girls would just kind of laugh at this. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, it looks like
But it looks like the avatars are like 50-50. You can play as a boy or a girl, but I don't know.
Wait, I thought you were just playing as dogs. There's people in the game. So wait, so are the people the quarterbacks?
I think so, because dogs can't throw a ball.
Like, dog can't throw a ball. They also can't.
They can catch a ball.
Have you ever seen a dog catch a fucking football? Because I haven't. I'm sure that there are some that can, but not a lot. A fucking Chihuahua's not going to catch a fucking football, Smilie.
No?
No, absolutely not. And I'm just like trying to picture the L-line. It's a little Chihuahua with a fucking helmet on. Is that real or did someone Photoshop that on?
I don't know what that is. This is like a YouTube video. I think somebody just Photoshopped it together,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if that... Man, wouldn't it be crazy if, like, that German Shepherd just ragdolled that fucking Chihuahua? And that'd be great. I would love to see... Man, I wonder if they have, like, dog touchdown celebrations and stuff.
Probably.
Wow. Hope they get penalties. I hope it's like NFL Blitz. Was that 64?
Yeah. An arcade.
Yeah, NFL Blitz, but with dogs, where it's just fucking raw shit and they're fucking just going at each other's throats and stuff.
But I'm trying to remember what the Barbie game dethroned. What is it? It definitely, the top one was like Paper Mario 2, I think.
That was the highest ranking Mario game?
It was just like the highest rank. That was the number 1. Paper Mario 2 was on their list.
I thought the Barbie game was number 1.
Well, it dethroned it.
Oh.
But there's another one. But
that's what I was saying. Like, of all the Mario games, that's the one that.
Like I said, it's completely.
This is also coming from a guy who's never played a single second of Paper Mario.
It's completely objective, and if they do the rankings like they did whenever we saw it, like every single time, it's basically like you take a game and you just throw it into a random spot, and you're like, is this game better than this game? So they.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Vote.
Yeah, you just.
If it does better, it goes up. If it does worse, it goes down. And it basically just keeps moving around until, like, because you'll take, like, just random drops.
Until you're like, well, is it better than this game? No. Was it worse than this game? No. All right, it's where it needs to be.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. And they just throw it, like, if you got 1 through 50, you're just throwing, just throw it at 23.
Yeah.
Is it better than 22? Nope. Is it worse than 24? Nope. Boom.
And they'll take, like, deep stabs, like, I don't know, like 256. Like, is it better than this game? Or is it worse than this game?
Man, whenever you're working with that many games, I guess that's the best way to do it. Because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, just start at. That would be funny though, if you throw it in at like 256, like you said, and imagine if you just throw it in randomly, and you realize, and then you realize that after I don't know, 87,000 hours, you're like, all right, is it better than the 999,999 game? Like, no. All right. It's now the new worst game of all time, just because you fucking set it up too high. But
yeah.
Oh man, that's an endeavor. I guess they're never.
That's how Barbie got to number one, like over the course of like a podcast, because they're just like, what about this game? What about this game? Okay, now it's cracking the top 20. What about this game?
Yeah, they definitely have a. That is definitely a very fucking niche audience.
Yeah.
Man, for sure. But I mean, yeah, that's definitely a corner of the market, and you're never gonna run out of fucking content because I mean, come on. There are 2 games that I just learned about today that are like, one of them is the number 1 game of all time, and I had never even fucking heard of it. So that's pretty amazing. But yeah, anyone that has a Nintendo Wii, check out Jerry Rice and Nidus's. What's funny is Nidus, I'm assuming Lee and I, that's a real dog. There's a photo, for those wondering, there's a photo of Jerry Rice on the front cover of the game with his dog. I'm assuming Leonidas is the star. I
don't know if we have enough listeners for this to be justifiable, but I'll go ahead and give these people a shout out. Audioentropy.com, AUDIOENTROPY.com. They're also on iTunes, and Twitter is at Audioentropy.
Audioentropy. That's
but that's their podcast network.
Oh, I was gonna say that should be our fucking podcast name. Entropy.
I can't remember specifically what the video game ranking one was called, but I'm sure it's not hard to find.
So, what else did you see while you were there? A lot of fucking titties and fucking Chun-Li outfits and stuff.
Actually,
big thighs.
There weren't as many like crazy. I mean, there was lots of cosplay, but not as many slutty girls as you would expect.
Okay.
It was very nice, family friendly.
Oh, I was like, doesn't sound like it's nice at all, dude. Jeez.
But have some.
Was that?
See if I get it to pull up.
Just for anyone listening, we do have an Instagram at Smilies _ That's Smilies. That'll be
SMILIES.
That's apostrophe. Yes.
We can't
wait
do
apostrophe. Oh, you can't? Oh, you're right. Okay. Yeah, so that's easier. Sorry, I just screwed everyone up. SMILIES _
corner.
CORNER. But I'm pretty sure. Can you just please put this as the picture on Instagram?
I can. I have
like
a few.
whenever you upload it. Oh, okay, that's good. You don't even need to include me in it. Just put that picture.
Here's me and my girlfriend posing with.
Oh, she was Chun-Li. I think you told me that. That's funny. You should have said like, no, I only saw one super sexy Chun-Li. Dude, that's a good idea. I definitely. Shout out to her for not doing the bare legs because that's a pretty revealing costume.
Oh yeah,
and
for
she'd
sure.
probably get a few, like, hey, can I get a picture? And it's like, whoa, why is your hand grazing my fucking upper thigh? That's a little creepy.
Let's see.
It is kind of weird because it's funny that you did Ryu because you're like a little bit Asian too, which I guess Ryu's supposed to be all Asian, but you know how he looks. He looks like a little Asian, not full blood. You know what's funny is looking at the picture of you in that costume, it looks like you're not really cosplaying. It looks like you just had a match. That's funny.
She just took a picture of me while I was playing video games.
Oh, that's funny. I really wish someone would have been like, "Hey man, who are you supposed to be?" It's like, "What?" Like, "Hey, are you like costume?" Like, "No, man, I just came out of my fucking taekwondo meeting." Meeting? Is that what you call them? Taekwondo meeting? Yeah, karate chop, bro. You think? Well,
Practicing my kata.
I was wondering if taekwondo people get pissed off if you say karate chop. Like, it's taekwondo. I don't know what you call it. Slap. Karate chops are for pussies. So you didn't participate in any costume contests though?
No.
Pretty elaborate ones there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there were some crazy ones. Like, I don't even know if the game has come out. There's like a new Diablo game, and we saw some girl had like this crazy like headpiece thing, but it's basically like these horns like coming out of her head, like, and she had like full body makeup on and everything. Like, some of the people are just like, how do you do that? There was like, I don't know, like if they were all, it was one of the like first-person shooter games, but it's either Call of Duty, PUBG, or something, one of those type of games. But there was like a whole group of people. They were like all different classes of characters.
I know it sounds dumb, but like Call of Duty just doesn't. It's a hugely popular game. I get it, but it just doesn't seem like a dress-up costume game. You know, it's like, because was Call of Duty initially World War stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, it would just be like, what are you, like, oh, blah, blah, from Call of Duty? Like, you just look like a German soldier, man. You don't look like...
I did see...
It is kind of weird to dress up as, like, the video game is based on actual events, and you're dressing up from the video game, so it kind of just looks like, why is that guy dressed as, like, a 1940s American soldier?
I did see a guy, I didn't ask him specifically what he was going for, but he looked like World War I era military. Like, he had the full get-up, even with the big, tall lace-up boots and the helmet, like the hard helmet with the wide brim and everything. Like,
wow. Like, guys, that's one thing. I knew her kind of. I mean, I still know her, but went to parties at her house briefly where she had like costume parties, and she was a big cosplayer and stuff. And you can see like online, but it was funny because initially I'm thinking like, oh, she has a lot of costumes. You see Instagram, I'm like, oh, she's got like 4, but like still the effort and time and money. And it's like people spend their money on whatever they want to spend on, but I think it's more of like the storage and stuff. And it's like, golly, man, that's a lot of fucking work just for fucking. Because some of them get really fucking elaborate. I saw it was on I think it was on Comic Book Man, but they had somebody that dressed up as is it Nave from Avatar?
I don't know, the guy with the triangle on his head.
The blue people. You remember the biggest film of all time? Not Last Airbender. I guess it's no longer the biggest film of all time. Well, until fucking Avatar 2. Will fucking probably. I don't know. I'm gonna see Avatar 2. I don't know if it'd be the biggest of all time, but there was somebody to dress up like one of those.
Yeah.
Which is weird because they're like 8 or 9 feet tall,
and
this looked legit. And I'm like, how the fuck do you do? I remember people were making a lot of fun. You remember when was it Days of Future Past? Was that the one that had Apocalypse in it? Or was that just? Was there an X-Men Apocalypse?
Oh yeah, there was X-Men Apocalypse. I'm sorry. Yeah, Days of Future Past is where they time travel.
That's right. Okay. God, there's so many fucking X-Men movies, man. It's nuts. But they were pointing out like how he looked in that movie, but people easily found people at Comic-Cons.
Oh, with way better cosplay.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, he looks 100%. The only thing that bugs me is the A. That's a little weird. The big giant A collar thing. Yeah. I'm like, it looks cool, but once you see that cosplayed in real life, I'm like, you realize that's really weird to have a big giant A on your neck, right? Like, it doesn't.
Did you commit adultery?
Yeah, like the Superman symbol doesn't look weird, but yeah, whenever it's like, I mean, if Green Lantern had a big G on its chest, like that would look weird. It's like literally the S for Superman, because it's not hidden at all. You can tell it's an S, but it's usually not blatant, I guess. That and the Batman one, but you can't really do, I feel like, any other letter. Any other letter just looks bizarre. Like, what if you just did like a bold Times New Roman font fucking J? It would just look like silly. Actually, now I kind of like that idea. I'm glad we're recording this because I'm going to remember that. I'm going to use it somewhere. What are you? I'm John. I'm just Super John. Yeah, people should do that more often whenever they do Halloween costumes. Why don't they just like create their own characters?
Well, that would require more effort.
But it's not, I mean, I guess so.
And nobody really, like, you probably wouldn't get as many...
But Super John, I just take a shirt, boom, I either just, like, I don't know, Sharpie a big J on it, or maybe I can obviously put more effort into that, and then a fucking cape, bada bing, bada boom.
Because I think people, part of the cosplaying, too, because I noticed that after, like, walking around in costume all day, like, just random people, like, I saw a guy riding a bike, and he just started, like, making noises, and I was like, oh, he's making the Ryu sounds. He's like,
So he's like riding the bike to simulate him doing the move?
well, no, he was just like making the sound, and I was like, what the hell is that? And then he was like, it's motherfucking Ryu.
Is he really fucking nerdy, or is he just...
No, it was just some like random like dude on a bike. Like there was like a whole bunch of...
Oh, he was saying it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't understand.
And...
I thought this guy was just riding around like making video game noises.
No,
I'm like, golly, dude. I mean, you're in the right place, but if you're an outcast in that place like that, oh man, it's a rough life.
But like we went out to eat like after the convention, and like there were people in the restaurant like saying like they liked our costumes and stuff. I don't know. It's just like, or like, what's up, Ryu? What's up, Chun?
That would be, like I say, it'd still be funny to me if it's not a costume. You're just like, hey, what's up, Ryu? It's Justin. It's not my... I don't go by...
We did have...
I don't know who Ryu is.
Thankfully...
Although Chun-Li's costume, it's pretty like, what? No, this is how I dress every day. Who's Chun-Li? I don't know who that is. It's pretty blatant.
She didn't get like hit up by a bunch of like weird dudes or anything. I think it was mainly because I was like with her the whole time.
Because they're like, fucking Ryu, dude. Are you kidding me? Hadouken, you fucking ass.
But there was one guy that like went up and like asked her for a hug.
Really?
And then he like shook my hand. I don't know. But
people are fucking weird, dude. That really happened?
Yeah. It was a side hug, but
I know, like, you clearly should not be threatened by that at all. It's just, it's fucking weird, man. People are fucking weird. Like, what
is it? She was telling me that there's also, like, things that, like, floating around on, like, Twitter or Reddit or something. It says cosplay is not consent.
Yeah. That's what, I mean, like, it's a hug. It's totally innocent. Yeah. But, like, back in the day, I would think, like, oh, that's kind of sad, nerdy guy, just sees a cute girl, it's like trying. But, like, now when I see people do stuff like that, I'm like, oh, he's just a weasel trying to, like, be weird and do something. Like, and I mean, you shook your hand and stuff, but it's still... Like, can you go in the bar and like, hey, can I have a hug? I just want a hug. Like, that's fucking creepy. It's fucking creepy. It's not, it's not fucking... molestation. It's not like prison or jail worthy or anything, but it's fucking weird.
It is also weird walking around and just random
people. If I were you, I'm saying I wouldn't have done this, by the way, but we're gonna pretend like I would have. If I were you, I would have been like, hey, can I have a hug? And you just like go in with and do a 3-person hug. You're like, there you go, buddy, have fun.
But it is weird walking around too, like people just randomly, hey, can I get a picture?
Yeah, I have a coworker that used to do a lot of, and he would get a lot of pictures taken and stuff, which is funny because he would always like not brag. I always felt bad because he was like really excited about it, and I was just like, I would never want to do that. Like looking at his pictures, I'm like, I wouldn't like. Your costumes aren't really like that cool. I don't understand. like I was saying, the Navi, the Avatar person, I'm like, this looks like it literally walked off of the fucking movie screen.
Yeah.
But like. You're just kind of in mediocre zombie makeup. Like, yeah, man, I was on The Walking Dead. What are you going to be this year? Oh, I'm from the video game Left 4 Dead. So you're wearing the same fucking costume?
I saw somebody... Have you ever seen a Shy Guy from Mario?
Shy Guy. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't picture it, though. Shy Guy from Mario. Like, is this from the original Mario?
I can't remember if this is, like, Mario 3.
Okay, yes. Yes.
But somebody made a costume.
It almost looks like a chibi version of the Scream villain.
Somebody made a costume of that, but he was like giant.
No, really?
Like he looked like a full-size like video game character, but he was like too big to get your arms around. Like it was really cool looking though.
I saw the greatest kind of the same thing is that like everything was just made big, arms and everything, but it was a juggernaut. It looked fucking insane.
Yeah.
It looked fucking insane. Some of these people I get super impressed with, and I just don't understand why more, I don't, I feel like movies should probably not, because it's weird, whenever I see, when I see a video online of like, oh, this guy's cosplaying as the Juggernaut, and somehow he's made his arms, like, I don't know if it's paper mache or whatever the fuck it is, but they're like 3 feet around, he's like 8 feet tall, he looks like he weighs about 1,000 pounds of pure muscle. And I'm like, it's a costume, and I'm like blown away. But if I were to go see a movie, whenever they reveal Juggernaut, you're never like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh, I saw. Yeah, of course I'm gonna see it. It's a dragon. They can make dragons. It's computers. They can make whatever you want. But if
Yeah, what was
I don't
it?
know, the actual thing were to walk out, I'd be like, holy fucking shit.
Vinnie Jones was the Juggernaut in X-Men 3.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot all about that. What's his one line?
In X-Men 3?
There's a very famous, is it I'm the Juggernaut, bitch? There's a very famously made fun of line. I'm pretty sure it's I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he said that.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Is the just for the record, Vinnie Jones is like English, right?
Uh-huh.
Juggernaut English?
Well,
I don't know what the Juggernaut's. Golly, man, he looks terrible. I'm looking at it right now. It looks terrible.
He was Professor Xavier's half brother, but I don't even know. Like, they changed his whole backstory in the movie.
Oh, that's true, because Professor Xavier is British, I guess, so that makes sense. Yeah, that doesn't, I mean, I guess it doesn't look... See, what's funny is, like, what I'm looking at is what I would expect to see at a convention. I'm like, oh, you're clearly Juggernaut. Like, that's pretty good. But then when you go to a convention and you see someone that, like... And granted, they are kind of, like, I don't want to say, you know, few and far between the ones that are that elaborate. But, like, I mean, you know, just get on Instagram and type in fucking cosplay, and some of them are like, holy shit, did you get, like, plastic surgery to make your face look like the cartoon character? Like, it's fucking nuts. Was there anything... I know you saw the Angry Video Game Nerd at a panel.
Okay, so there's a story behind that.
Oh, okay.
So I went up there, and I went to, like, because they had, like, a spot on the expo. They took the original game, and apparently there was a second game. I didn't know this came out. The guys told in the panel later that a lot of people didn't know there was a second game because the company that put it out didn't promote it at all.
Oh, wow.
Like, they just put it out. So they remastered it and, like, updated a bunch of things, but they got people in that, like, were, like, speedrunning the game to, like, work out all the little kinks and bugs and stuff. But they remastered it. I think it's coming out on Switch and Steam, so they had, like, a demo you could play. That game is hard as shit, too. Like, I couldn't even make it through, like, the first screen. Like,
wow. Damn it. It looks like what I've seen online. I'm like, it looks fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of really funny stuff in it, too.
Yeah.
But, and I kept seeing, you know that guy Justin that does the rental reviews? The big guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
I kept seeing him up there, but I even saw Jay from the Game Chasers floating around up there at one point. I didn't say anything to him, but no James Rolfe the whole time. And then I got to the panel, and apparently they updated it on the website before it happened, but James Rolfe didn't show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the next AVGN episode was Raid 2020.
Oh.
They released it early because there was, like, a flight mix-up.
Oh.
And
that really... It's one thing if you have to stay home and take care of something, but it would really suck to be like, okay, I'm getting flights, I'm going to where I need to go, and then, like, you still don't make it. And
Yeah.
You're like, I mean, like, I
But
literally all of this, and I'm just going to end up going back home.
I think it just, like, I don't know if they caught it beforehand and figured out that it wasn't worth the trouble, but they said that he was at home working on stuff, so.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't make it, and you know the other guy, Tony, with the beard? He apparently went to MagFest and got really sick, so he stayed at home, too. So it was Justin, and then, can't remember, who's the guy that does the stuff with Mike usually?
Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. So, yeah.
Ryan's like a legit, like, there are, like, gamer nerdy guys, and then there are, like, real nerds. And I mean that, like, as a compliment, as a nice thing, because I'm like, he's, like, really smart.
Yeah.
There was a guy that, God, what did they call him? He used to be on the Game Chasers every once in a while. Was it, like, Kangaroo? Rue? I think it was Rue.
Oh, yeah.
I've watched some of his, like, YouTube videos, and I'm like, oh, this guy's reviewing games in ways that I didn't think were possible. Like, yeah, it's gonna break down the bits, and we're gonna look at the circuit board and buy. And it's like, holy shit, dude.
But and they also had one of the guys from Screenwave that puts out all their stuff. But anyways, they explained what happened, and they talked about like the new game and all the different like tweaks and stuff that they did to it.
How much would that suck if you're like fourth banana, and now you have to host a panel whenever the guy that everyone is there to see is like, yeah, he's not gonna come, but he got me, and I think there's a lot of people that don't like those guys.
Well, it was funny because Justin like gave like he basically tried to kill as much time as he could, and going back and forth with the other guys, just like showing stuff. They even showed like clips from the game, like screenshots and stuff that people haven't seen yet, because they added more levels and stuff. Like they had like a final like crazy tower level or something. But anyways, he killed as much time as he could, and then he's like, okay, anybody, like, if you want to leave, like, go ahead and leave. Like, I don't blame you. Like, I know you're all gonna leave. But surprisingly, like, a decent amount of people stuck around. But
yeah, they probably wanted to leave. They're like, no, I want to look like a fucking asshole if I just fucking walk out.
But they did, like, it was basically the longest like Q&A ever.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only way I think I'd be able to sustain like that long.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, does anyone have a question?
But surprisingly, got it through like the whole hour, because it was like one of those weird things.
Did you ask a question?
No.
I told you to ask a question.
Oh,
Smilie.
they asked that question, and
Somebody asked?
Yeah. Well, since it's Justin.
You want
Ryan,
to talk about it off air?
I mean.
Oh, I guess we don't have to.
There isn't really like. They basically gave like the diplomatic answer to the question. He was just like, I don't have any problems with the guy. Like, this is what Ryan's saying. He's like, if he wants to come and like collaborate with us, he's like, I'm more than open to that. But he said that he can't speak for whatever happened between him and Mike and him and James. So didn't really get an answer on that. But somebody did ask what happened to Bootsy.
Okay. What were you thinking when they say it? Like, sweet, I don't have to ask it. I knew you weren't going to.
Well, I forgot, actually.
Oh, really?
And then somebody said it. I was like, oh, yeah.
I'm wondering if this like kind of cryptid talk we're having probably isn't traveling well on the podcast. But Angry Video Game Nerd is, for the audience listening, I probably should have explained this at first.
Yeah.
He is essentially the OG game reviewer. He just reviewed old games that used to make him angry, and he gets really angry about it. But
Yeah,
I think the initial video is in 2004.
He did videos before YouTube.
Yeah, he did videos before YouTube, and he still has an audience, still doing stuff. But he had a collaborator, longtime collaborator named Bootsy, who would review video games, play them. They even had a board game review videos that were pretty funny and stuff. But Bootsy just kind of disappeared, and I've always wondered why.
Yeah.
I say I've always. I really haven't been watching the guy. Like, I haven't been watching the motherfucker since 2004. That's for sure. 2006. Yeah, it's weird. He was making videos before YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Not like that's that hard to do, but it just sounds weird. We're in a post-YouTube world, Smilie.
But the audience did ask, like, pretty good, like, amount of questions, so they got through the whole hour.
Okay. That's what, man, that'd be so awkward. Questions? No? Okay, panel's over, everybody. Have a good time at the con. Was it your first convention or anything?
First, like, big one.
Okay.
Because I had been to Retropalooza.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And they did say that James will be at Retropalooza. I think Mike might be there, too. I'm not sure. But that's in the fall.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not... They only do that once a year, right? Or is it twice a year?
I think they do one in DFW and one in Houston or San Antonio, Austin. I don't know. One
Impact
of those.
was in Austin or Houston?
San Antonio.
That's right.
Yeah.
I knew that. I didn't even.
But there's definitely one in, like, I think they do a Retropalooza in South Texas. But PAX is like a, I think it's northeast, southwest.
I gotta say, it looks like you went pretty reasonable on merch, too. I'm kind of surprised you didn't, like, hey, we gotta go buy another piece of luggage so I can get all my merch home and stuff.
I didn't see as much, like, it was, they had, like, a handful of things. Like, I found this, let me see. These guys made a new Nintendo game called I think the original one was like Haunted 85 maybe, and they made another one called Haunted 86. I didn't get like the whole backstory on it, but there were like two different ones. But it's like a legit NES cart that you can play.
What does that one say?
This one, Ultra Dolphin Revolution.
Ultra Dolphin Revolution.
Yeah.
Is this a? I mean, is that an original game or is that a new game as well? Somebody
This
being
is
funny?
like a this is a company.
That's the name of the company.
Uh-huh.
Ultra Dolphin Revolution.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I played one where it was basically your what is it? Yeah, real men use items, and you're like a princess, and it's basically like Mario controls, but you're playing almost like Super Smash Brothers, where there's like platforms and.
You ever played Smash Brothers? I've never played Smash Brothers.
Oh, it's pretty crazy.
What I've seen, it looks a little overwhelming.
Yeah, it's very chaotic.
And I was like, man, how like, because I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, like a fighting game, I guess, with like the Mario. And I'm like, holy fuck, this is just looks like a seizure waiting to happen.
But yeah, I walked around and looked at as much stuff, but it's one of those things where you have to wait in line for a lot of things. They even had Streets of Rage 4, but we decided not to like sit and wait for that line. But it looked really cool, like just standing on the side and watching people play.
Yeah.
But even like the retro stuff was really popular. Like I saw a couple of them. There's even one from they have a shop in Arlington, but I think they also have one in like San Antonio and like Austin. But they're what is that? Game Over Video Games. But yeah, like you go up there and there's just like people everywhere, like trying, and it's like a little cramped booth.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like get in there and like look at stuff. So I just look as fast as I can to see if there's anything catches my eye that isn't like $100+, and then go about my business. But I found that Solomon's Key. That was just like in a stack of like common games that nobody really cared that much about.
Yeah, there was one booth at the comic convention where I was having a hard time trying to fucking, because he even had stuff like, I had a box with comics, but he even had stuff like on top of the boxes and stuff. I'm like, son of a bitch, man. And it was a little, it's understandable for him. I don't want to judge the guy, but definitely a BO. A lot of BO.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was funny too. April, my girlfriend, was telling me that they had to like send out a thing. I don't know if they tweeted it or whatever, but on the last packs, they're like, please bathe yourself before like coming back into the convention.
It's so insane that they have to like tell
But
people.
she was like, there'll definitely be like a special odor on Saturday whenever we go in. Like people just like went to bed and didn't like take care of themselves. But I didn't. There were a couple like musty individuals that I ran across, but thankfully there weren't too many like real nasty.
So I've never really noticed anything. I mean, I've only been to like, I guess I went to the Anime Fest and then the 2 comic conventions, and I smelled like one particular guy with BO, but it wasn't like, and I was also only there for 4 to 5 hours at I think all 3 of the events, like probably total. Not total, like all together 3, but like just one day. It wasn't any sort of 3-day thing with me or anything like that. So I never noticed any sort of the weird thing. That was the thing too, is like people have this perception of like what cons are, and it's like it's actually like a lot of hot girls in skimpy outfits, and then like kind of a lot of normal dudes. And then I kind of think like, man, maybe I'm the loser nerd guy. I'm thinking they're here, but I'm looking at people, I'm like, well, yeah, they look presentable. These guys look like they're doing well. I'm like, maybe I'm the piece of shit. Maybe I'm the guy that's heading around holding everybody back. And then I put my headphones on and everyone's laughing at me. So where are we looking at on time here? You got more stuff in your itinerary? Did you see a whole lot of more stuff?
I mean, if you want to go like deeper, like I don't know if we did. We went and saw the guys that worked on the new Predator game. Predator Hunting Grounds is coming out.
Oh, really? Making
pretty
another Predator game?
Yeah, and they threw it together in like 2 years or something.
Are they making another movie? Probably. It's probably a dumb question. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Not that I know of. They didn't mention anything.
I mean, maybe they're not like this year, but in 3 years, it's gonna be another Predator. I mean, it's just like if that's like they haven't rang it out completely dry. Actually, it doesn't even matter how dry it is. It could be on fire, and they're like, "Let's do another one."
Well, these guys, they're very big fans of the '87 movie. Like they don't really have any interest in the other stuff. I think there's a few things that like tie in. I think it was mostly from the last one.
It's kind of fucked up how, like, it was a popular movie, but it wasn't like that popular. I mean, it was like popular. It's just crazy to me how many, when you think about it, how many iterations of the Predator have existed now at this point. It's just like Jesus, man. Have they ever done Never mind. I was literally just about to ask the dumbest fucking question in the world.
Yeah. But it's I think
Charlie Horse.
Are you okay?
Go on.
It's the same team that worked on the Friday the 13th game that came out past couple of years. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's like a.
Was there like a? Well, obviously there's a. I mean, it sounds like I'm describing. Like I know. Oh, it has Jason in it in a cabin and he like murders some people. I know what you're talking. I'm pretty sure I've seen gameplay online.
Yeah, so you can play as Jason or the campers.
And at some point, cops show up or whatever, and you're supposed to do something. For the cops show up.
You have to like do certain things to survive or whatever. But this is basically the fire team, like something similar to what Arnold Schwarzenegger's team was doing in the movie, and the Predators. And I think there's like 3 different classes of Predators, and you can be male or female Predator.
They have a point in the game where you be like, "Come on, do it, come on, do it."
But I think it's not. There isn't really like a single player campaign. It's focused on like multiplayer. So I think they're wanting people to jump online and just like kill each other.
Do they have a character in the Predator game that says calls everyone slack-jawed faggots? I probably shouldn't have said that. Huh? Hey, just for the record, I was quoting the movie. I don't feel that way. I don't use that word. I just use it whenever I'm talking about someone else using it. Maybe that's a good thing to go out on. So there was a guy that so he was at the bar and he got really wasted and threw up all over himself while he was in the bathroom. Couldn't make it to the toilet. Just threw up all over himself. And he was still like, I guess, present enough mind. He's like, hey, man, I got to close out my tab, tip, whatever. I got to get out of here, get home. I have no idea how I'm going to explain this to my wife, but so be it. So he goes to the bar. He's going to tab out. Bartender notices an odor and fucking puke all over him. And he's like, what the hell happened? He's like, dude, I fucking threw up all over myself in the bathroom. I'm okay. I just got to get out of here. Got to figure out how I'm going to explain this to my wife. The bartender has the best idea ever. He's like, hey, look. Just take $10, put it in your shirt pocket, and just tell your wife that some drunk asshole at the bar threw up all over you. And he gave you $10 to cover the dry cleaning.
Yeah.
Guy's like, that's a pretty good idea. I think that might work. So he goes home, sees his wife. Wife, same thing as a bartender. Notices the smell, notices him covered in fucking vomit, and starts freaking out on him. He's like, hey, look. Some guy at the bar threw up all over me. But look, here's $10. He apologized. He gave me the money for dry cleaning. She's like, but that's a $20 bill. And he kind of looks blankly and thinks for a second. He's like, oh, well, he also shit my pants.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Peace be with you.
And you.